This psychiatric patient, who was about to be discharged, suddenly spotted a giant python outside the window. Would the man signal the doctor to take a look? Or choose to remain silent? If he chose the former, the python would hear the commotion and dart away instantly. When the doctor turned around and saw nothing, he assumed the man was having another episode, and immediately decided to lock him up again. Little did he know that the python was coiled on the hospital roof, and soon after, it lunged viciously into the building. The story begins with a strange incident from a few days earlier. While investigating an accident, the FBI unearthed a scale harder than diamond. Just as they were puzzling over it, reporter Matt seemed to have discovered something.
I've seen this before. The scale.
He touched the pendant around his neck, and his thoughts drifted back 15 years. Back then, Matt was still a child. One day, he followed his father to an antique shop to sell a family heirloom. While his father was negotiating the price with Luke, Matt wandered off to look around. Unexpectedly, a box behind him opened on its own. A blinding light shot into Matt's body. Luke noticed the commotion over at Matt. He suddenly clutched his chest, as if having a heart attack. Matt's father assumed he'd asked for too high a price, and upset the man, so he immediately began slashing the price. To his surprise, Luke offered a high price of $1,000, and asked the man to help him buy some herbs at the pharmacy. Matt's father was instantly thrilled. He told Matt to take good care of Luke and then left. However, as soon as Matt's father had walked away, Luke stopped pretending, and took out a piece of cloth to tell Matt a legend. 1,000 years ago, many giant serpents lived in heaven. They were called Gulemo, or the serpents of justice. Their duty was to eradicate evil. To honor these Gulemo, heaven granted them the chance to become dragons once every 500 years. By swallowing the dragon balls, which contained immense energy, they could shed their serpent forms and transform into true dragons. However, this aroused the jealousy of other giant serpents, who sought to steal the dragon pearl. These serpents were known as the Boraji. To prevent the Boraji from seizing the dragon pearl, heaven hid it within the body of a human girl. On the day of her 20th birthday, the dragon pearl within her would awaken. If the girl offered the dragon pearl to a chosen Gulemo, she would ascend and become a true dragon. Yet the Boraji continued their relentless pursuit. On this day, the dragon pearl was born in a small village, and heaven sent 2 warriors to protect the girl, a wizard and his apprentice, Jack. They guarded her for 20 years, but as the time for the sacrifice drew near, the apprentice, Jack, unexpectedly fell in love with the girl, Amy. The wizard, Charlie, didn't know how to handle the situation, so he took Jack to see Gulemo, hoping Jack would give up his feelings for Amy. He also gave Jack a pendant imbued with powerful energy. Soon, Amy's 20th birthday arrived, but before she could offer up the dragon pearl, Boraji rallied his army and launched an attack on the village. Amy was quickly captured. Charlie and Jack ambushed the army along the way, but the enemy outnumbered them. So, while no one was looking, Jack secretly took Amy away, and revealed the secret of the dragon ball she carried. By this point, Jack had made up his mind. He would do whatever it took to protect Amy, so he threw away the pendant, and prepared to leave with Amy. But Boraji would never let the dragon ball go. Not long after they fled, Boraji discovered them, but they were willing to die rather than let him succeed. As the story reached this point, Jack suddenly pulled out the pendant and gave it to Matt. It turned out that Matt was Jack's reincarnation, and Luke was Charlie from 500 years ago. He told Matt that if he failed to complete the mission, they would all be unable to return to the